Hey, there we go. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it might be where you are. Welcome back to the live stream. My name is Jeff Fritz.
Greetings, my excellent friend.
There we go. Today is December 5th, 2019. We're going to write a little bit of code today. How's it going there, chat room? It's good to see you. Hello, hello. I'm still on the road. I'm here in Phoenix, Arizona, still in my hotel room. I switched to my Atari hat today because Atari was from the Southwest United States. Right, there's that famous burial ground where they buried all the old Atari cassettes, cartridges that didn't get made, and that's I think in New Mexico. So I figured my Atari hat was a little salute to the Southwest. Audio is a bit delayed. I'm looking good here. It so far seems synced up to Hugo. Cool. Let's say hello to some of our friends here in the chat room. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate the follow there from is that Shaush? Welcome. Thank you to all of our new followers there. Appreciate you tuning in. As we get closer and closer to this number, 9,000 followers. Oh my gosh. We're going to get to 9,000 followers today. I can feel it, chat room. I can feel it. Good morning, Pandas in a Tub, Hugo, Doll, Eternal Dev Coder, Plain Reality, Stelzy is here, Blazor, Mr. Magoo, hello, hello. Banana, is that Banana Kib? Is that how you pronounce that? Good to see you. Looking down here. Audio seems synced up to Hugo. Off by a quarter millisecond. By a quarter second, says Plain Reality. I haven't changed my audio settings. I should not have any delay here. I'm going to take a quick look at my audio settings. I do not have a delay built in. No. It's bearable now. Let me see. How about now? Is that better? Is that synced up? I've been hearing folks saying that folks' audio has gone out of sync on other channels as well. Without changing anything, they're seeing audio sync. When I finish talking, my lips still move. Did a hard refresh and it's starting to sync better. So it feels like it might be a Twitch. Works for Kevin Griffin. Good to see you. Let's see. Net Cody's. Hello. Derek Foreman. When I finish talking, my lips is. Did a hard refresh. Says liking and things are okay. Ancient Coder looks good there. I'm not going to pronounce your name there because we do try to stay family friendly on this stream. But thank you to my Bulgarian friend there. Welcome. Not a huge deal, just pointed out in case others are seeing it. It's slight. Yeah, it's synced up here, and I'm not dropping any frames. So I'm not quite sure where it's coming from. Could be a Twitch transmission issue. Yeah. I'm gonna have to move on. We are at 8,994 followers. Look at that right there. When we hit 9,000, I normally give away a sticker pack. I'm not giving away a sticker pack. I'm going to give away a Live Coders backpack because it's 9,000. This is a number. This is a huge number that we're going to hit. I'm going to give away a Live Coders backpack. Live Coders, of course, is our team here on Twitch, featuring all kinds of folks that are writing code live, that are broadcasting, listening, and teaching, and helping you, our technical community, learn more about software, about hardware, about building with technology. And everybody on the Live Coders team that made it to TwitchCon got a backpack. I have 6 left. That they sent me just a few extras here, and I am happy to give those away with a couple of buttons. I'm going to give one away to someone randomly in chat when we hit 9,000 followers. Every time we cross a multiple of 100 here, we're going to give away another prize. Typically, it's sticker packs. a pack of stickers based on her emotes, but this time we're going to give away a backpack. When in doubt, blame Twitch. You're right, Stelzy. You're right. It's sometimes Twitch has a lot of pressure on their servers. Sometimes things happen there. So I'm going to set up. I'm going to set up the Lash tools here so that we're ready to go when that monumental event happens. Live Coders Backpack. These are rare. Not many people have it, and we're not going to do that. We're not doing the giveaway now. Oh, plain reality. No, not doing that. Nope, nope, nope. Not going to do that. Could be a browser connection issue. Could be. I see audio go out of sync with video on my mobile app a lot with Twitch. That I've been seeing a lot of recently. So, the project we're working on and that we're going to get into here today is designed to help make ASP.NET Web Forms developers, folks who've been developing and building with web forms, a little bit more comfortable with Blazor. And we're going to work on this project that we talked about yesterday. I talked about with my friend Dan Roth, who is the program manager for the Blazor user interface project. And we're going to start working on this once a week here on stream. On Thursdays, we're going to be working on this on stream. Let me get some music playing here in the background and we'll get into our project. I don't know which one to play. Nope, that one doesn't work. That one doesn't work either. My buttons aren't working. This is Orchid. This is music to code by from our friend, Mr. Carl Franklin. It's been scientifically designed. It's been engineered to get you in the flow, to get you in the groove, so that whatever task it is that you're working on, you can focus on and just get stuff done. There it is. Now we can hear it. Fantastic. Each song is 25 minutes long and will help you get focused. Take those 25 minutes, focus on your task, and then get up. Go for a walk, get a beverage, take 5 minutes for yourself, and then start playing the music again and work. Get focused, get productive. mtcb.pwop.com. You can get your copy, and you can learn more with the music command in the chat room. Thank you so much, Carl, for letting us listen to your music while we wrote code together here. 99.7, look at that. Look at that sentiment analysis over there. Almost perfect sentiment. Love it here. Thank you so much, chat room. Love seeing just how positive we are as a community right here. Speaking of positivity, later today I'm going to try and connect with, going to try and see our friend Lobro. You know him. He is Lobro Watch here on Twitch. Can't wait to see him and see what's going on, what we can do to collaborate, to do some cool things together with Lobro. WQ Walter.
Walter just resubscribed for 7 months.
Very cool. Thank you, Walter. 5 emotes are going to get shared by Twitch, holiday emotes throughout the channel to folks, and we're going to make a donation to St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. You're going to get 17 emotes once again, and most importantly, you get to throw emotes in my face, because all subscribers get to do that. Thank you so much. You're amazed at how awesome coders can be. Well, thank you, my Bulgarian friend. I appreciate the kind words there. Let me see. Let me check in. There's a couple other comments here I want to make sure. Is that Kovamalia says, love it. Often described Blazor to more old school devs as web forms, but better. Nice. I like that sentiment there, Kovamalia. I think you're right. It can be like web forms, but indeed better. There's a lot we can do there because they're both that same component-based development framework. So, just to recap, in case folks haven't used Blazor before, right? Of course, you've probably seen ASP.NET web pages out there that end with the .aspx, and it's been branded as difficult to work with because it's always got this thing called view state in it, a hidden field that was just gigantic, full of just garbage that would help maintain state as you made round trips to your server. And there was this thing called post back and events, and it was kind of tricky to manage. A lot of people really enjoyed working that way and continue to enjoy working that way with other frameworks on the desktop like WPF and Windows Forms. Well, with Blazor, we now have the return to this component-based framework that's strict HTML and can do the event-driven interactions. Plus, it'll compile down to WebAssembly or run on the server. You have two different places you can run your Blazor components. So our thinking is, well, why don't we take those default components that everybody uses that comes with ASP.NET, and let's turn them into Blazor components so that folks can migrate, have a migration strategy to be able to rewrite and use similar markup, maybe not the exact same markup, but similar markup going forward using Blazor. And that's the project we're going to work on today. My friend Dan Roth and I at Ignite, at Microsoft Ignite, on stage introduced a simple ListView component that's emulated the ASP.NET ListView, where it basically repeated whatever object, for whatever collection you had, it would repeat a template for you inside the scope of a table. It worked. It did what it needed to do, but we're going to start there. I've already built a little bit of documentation around this. I haven't pushed it up to the repository you see here yet, but we're going to start there, build a little bit here today, and build a little bit of the framework around where this is going to go, and hopefully start getting some sample code written, some documentation by the time we're done here. And friends out there, this is an open source project sitting in the Fritz and Friends repository organization. I don't want to own this myself. I don't want to be the only one contributing to this. We want to publish this to NuGet. We want this to be something that the company, no, wrong word. We want this to be something that the community manages, maintains, extends, and makes easier for other folks to be able to use, because nobody likes being trapped in a technology that they don't enjoy working with anymore, or that isn't receiving fresh updates. They want to migrate and use the cool latest new features. So if we can provide a way for folks to rewrite with as little impact as possible, then they have a better chance of continuing to use the technology. NetJam Jr. says, this sounds pretty cool. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And thank you for the follow. Banana Kib, am I pronouncing that right? Appreciate that. I kind of agree, Walter. This is a good sentiment that you have here. It is better to start a project over. Is it better to start a project over with Blazor or retrofit an existing project? If you're coming from web forms, it's going to be better to start over. But you can migrate your business logic to .NET standard libraries, right? Take it out of your ASP.NET project, put it into a standard library. That's a .NET standard is a contract that both ASP.NET on .NET Framework and ASP.NET Core and Blazor support. So if you put your business logic into these class library structures that you can reuse and are portable across both frameworks, now you can reuse that code. You've done some refactoring, improved your application without changing it. Then what I'm hoping to be able to drive and to be able to make acceptable for folks with this project is be able to take your markup and drop it into Blazor and get the same effect if you're using the standard web controls that come with ASP.NET. So it's not something that'll be trivial to do, but it'll be easier to do. That's the goal, is to make that easier. Nailed it. Thank you, Banana Kib. Appreciate your support and helping us right here. 4 followers to go. That's all we need, and we're going to give away a backpack here on stream. Tell your friends, tell your families, tell your pets. Sign up for Twitch. Follow us here. We have a lot of fun together, writing code, and we're going to have a good time today. WQ, Ancient Coder says you can do either. Yeah, you really can do either as far as rewriting or trying to migrate. I think there is really an opportunity to take advantage of .NET Standard as a path forward that you can use to get to Blazor. What's going on here? Let me see. Let's see. All right. Community company Freudian slip. Well, that's just it. I don't want this project to be something that the company, that Microsoft owns. When Microsoft owns things, the community feels that it's overbearing. It can be something that Microsoft drives the direction of. I might work for Microsoft, but I want this to be a community-owned and operated experience. I think there's things that we can do, we can drive as a community that will lead and provide features, and we can respond to community feedback quicker if this is picked up and folks enjoy it. So, part of why it is MIT. Yes, exactly. It's MIT. We're going to make this MIT licensed so anyone, anywhere can pick up and run with it. It's completely open source. Absolutely. Very good point there, Lycan. Thank you. This is a little quiet. How's that? There we go. All right. 99.9. Look at that. Oh my gosh. That's some high sentiment. I love seeing how happy the chat room is. All right. What do you say we get writing some code here? Okay. Here we go. It doesn't get much higher than 99.9. That is phenomenal. That is tremendous sentiment there in the chat room. I like it.
Everything is awesome.
I love seeing a happy chat room. Can we get it to 100? It's really hard to get it there. It doesn't happen that frequently. Seeing 99.9 is impressive. All right, let me talk about the project. So I put a source folder out here that has just the ListView component that we built on stage. And when you look at what this ListView is, even if you don't understand Blazor markup, you can see that it's going to be a table here. Look at the hype. Thank you for the hype, Ancient Coder, Rambling Geek. Look at it, trying to push this over the top. Oh, that's great. And at 89.96, we could get there. We could absolutely get there today. Let me see, maybe I can do, I'm trying to push around, they rolled out the new dashboard to everybody here on Twitch, and I'm trying to get this to work a little bit better for me, and I think that'll work. So that looks a little bit better. I can see what's going on. This ListView component emulates a table. It's a class called table. If there's any additional attributes, we're gonna splat them onto this table, and I'll talk to you about what that means here in a minute. But you can see it's basically a table layout with a header and a body, and if for some reason we don't have any items in our collection, it outputs this empty data template, which is a parameter that's going to be passed in here. So there's a couple things from this basic configuration that Dan gave us that I want to refactor. I want to make a little bit simpler for folks to understand and put some documentation around. We need some documentation around what each one of these things are, right? Because these are the templates that'll be building out the content inside of these T-body and T-head elements here. Oh my gosh, I'm seeing a couple messages go by in chat here. So I want to move the code into a partial class, and I want to put a little bit more documentation with this, and I also want to start up an actual list view in a real ASP.NET Web Forms project so we can see what the output looks like from both, so we can do a before and after comparison. Let me take a look at the chat room here. I am getting good, says I am needing to learn ASP.NET plus C#, so I can hopefully get a promotion to IT at my company. Do I have any advice on learning these things? So I am getting good. Have you done any software development at all? If you're brand new to software development, there's an excellent series of videos for beginners on the .NET website. Thank you for the follow. Come on, where is it? Oh my gosh, I can't type. Thank you for the follow. Who joined us today? Oh, I am getting good. Thank you for the follow. 89.97. 3 to go. 3 to go. Oh my goodness. So here on the .NET website, if I go to Learn, there's a series of videos here for brand new folks who want to learn the basics. Getting started, what's involved. So you want to learn web. There are all kinds of learning materials here to get you started at a 101 level. All the basics for getting involved and getting started with this. Take a look. It's very easy to learn, and there's links off to more documentation. So I encourage you to check that out. Yeah, NetJam Jr., you're right. We do, Microsoft does own the domain .net, and they use it to redirect to the Microsoft Net website, Microsoft.com website. And they wanted to keep, for marketing reasons, they wanted to keep everything in the same domain. Kind of frustrating because it's a cool vanity URL, but I understand why they're doing it for marketing reasons. Class name might be something to be a little bit more unique. I can see lots of people already having a class called table. Oh, and I also did the full ASP.NET Core for a Day course. Yes. If you use the Konami code, you get the kind of secret menu. Interesting. And there's also try.net. Yes. So, class name might need to be something a bit more unique. A lot of people having a class called table. Where are you referring to there? Where are you referring to, DJ Vortex? There is no class called table here. This is ListView. So, what did you try, Pandana Tub? Oh, the Konami code. So you're telling me if I'm not going to tinker with it right now. I want to focus on our code, and I'll take a look at that later. I appreciate the feedback though. The CSS class. Here. So this is where I want to go back and I want to look at how ASP.NET Web Forms renders this control. And let's do a comparison, a side-by-side comparison, and see how that CSS class, if any, is used inside of our code. So let me also show you. I think I can do it here. Yep, here we go. So I started writing a little bit of documentation around what we want to do with this. So I improved, hello, open the, I'd like to see the preview, please. Activating extensions. We're waiting. Can we have the extensions now, please? No, you're not going to show me this. Still activating extensions. Visual Studio Code. There we go. My goodness. Am I using Bootstrap? Asks Ancient Coder. So the default ASP.NET Web Forms controls did use Bootstrap. We're not going to be using Bootstrap for this. Not directly. Come on, render. Show me that preview. Lycan says, I think Web Forms was the first thing that they did in ASP.NET. Yeah. It was for a lot of folks. And that's why it's kind of important to me as someone who was formerly the ASP.NET Web Forms Program Manager, it's important to me to try and make this something usable, right? Something that folks can do, because I'm a big fan of what Blazor does, and I want to make sure that these are available. I extended the README here to put some information about the controls that I plan to migrate.
60% of the time, it works every time.
Some of the things like text boxes and drop-down boxes, there's already Blazor equivalents for those, so I'm not sure I want to go after those. There's more complex ones that I think are more interesting for us to pursue first. So I want to go after these data controls, and these are the ones I took these right out of a Web Forms toolbox. I just went down and copied down the names. Chart's going to be an interesting one for us to do, because Chart was built on the Dundas controls, and we don't want to do Dundas with Blazor. So that's going to be very interesting for us to get to. So I'm even going to put a question mark next to that one, because that's going to be really tricky to do. But data list, data pager, details view, form view, grid view, list view, a repeater control, some validation controls, and some of these are already out there. I put a question mark next to regular expression validator, because we know that regular expressions are a typical source of security issues in code, because folks can construct text that'll create an infinite loop. Thank you for the follow. Samuel 101, thank you so much. I appreciate you joining us, Samuel. Boom, boom. Oh, boom, boom, you're killing me here. Let me put that up. Where'd it go? There it is. There's a couple good comments here. Let me highlight these and let me come back and address these. Oh my goodness. Some really, really good stuff here. Boom, boom. You don't need to strap your boots on the web. Oh, you're kidding me. Come on now. Bootstrap CSS framework. Really, really great stuff there. Space Shot, there's our friend Chris Gomez. 2 decades worth of legacy code out there, and it still works. It does. Folks that do feel that they have to move things forward, this will be a way for them to get there. Our friend Kevin Griffin. Kevin, good to see you. When Kevin teaches ASP.NET, tells folks that the sole job of Web Forms was to convert millions of WinForms developers to web developers. You're not wrong. And Chris follows on, millions of VB6 developers. Yeah, millions of folks out there. So we want to make sure that those folks have a way forward, and we think there's an opportunity here. Fishing Dev just opened a classic ASP website to work on. Wow, that's technology from the 90s. More power to you, my friend. Best of luck with that website. So there's going to be a little bit of pain with that. Yeah. Eternal Dev Coder asks, this is a good question, why was Bootstrap 4 not implemented? To be honest, it wasn't a compelling feature that needed to be built. Bootstrap 2, I think is what it ships with, works just fine. So no reason to upgrade and work with a new version and chase the CSS frameworks and have to rewrite all the controls and the templates to work with the new stuff. So no need to go crazy chasing all that on a team that was really doing just maintenance work. So, all right. Oh no. Svava. Did you just? You did. You did. Oh no. Friends, there's a feature here on the channel called channel points. We call them Fritz bits here on my channel, but all over Twitch you have these channel points. You see them right here below chat, a little orange cog, and just for participating, for being here, you get rewarded with Fritz bits, and you can use these to turn them in for all kinds of things. You can highlight your messages, you can get access to emotes without subscribing. But you can ask me to record a voiceover for you, and I'm more than happy to do that. We can open up live share, all kinds of great things. But you can also troll me. You can also make my life more difficult. And our friend Svava Blount has...
Wait, Master. It might be dangerous.
Has requested that I change my font to Papyrus. Papyrus. Are you kidding?
Shame.
Yeah.
Shame. Shame.
You have no idea what you're dealing with.
All right. Here we go. We're going to change the font to Papyrus. Thanks, Fafa. Thanks a lot. At least it's not winged things. Yeah. Dee Dee was all queued up to do this also. We're going to have some fun with this today. Oh my goodness. At least it's not Comic Sans. This is true. For those of you that haven't seen Papyrus, Papyrus is the font from the movie Avatar. We're going to be using that. Let me finish talking about what I put in the README here and what I put in this list view, and I'll go over to the code and we'll turn on Papyrus and start working. Or a Gothic curly font. No, bad idea. I did make it an option. I wanted it to be fun. So these are the various controls that I think we want to make here. When I look at the list view component that we want to build, I put a little link through from the README so that you could click on this and go see the details of the list view component. I have a link out to the default documentation that Microsoft made available, and I also put the syntax here that is available with the list view control. And you can see there's a lot of attributes to this. And if we're going to complete our task of making this portable, we're going to need to implement all of these things, and a lot of these things are actually available across many of the controls. So those of you that have done a little bit of software development before, that have worked and done some architecture, you may be looking at this and thinking, we want to refactor and make this a base class that already handles some of these things so that we can use those going forward. And that's the kind of thing that we're going to be doing and we're going to learn about as we build this project. Not all the development will happen here live on stream, but a good bit of it, and I want to make sure that I provide Thursdays as a steward, as a time for us to get together as folks that want to see Blazor succeed for web forms developers, to be able to collaborate and work on this. All right. All right. I'm going to... Wait a sec. I need to be in PowerShell. And I'm going to dev Blazor. It's like Blazor for web forms. There it is. Let me check in what I have here, because I've already added some other things. I don't like that .ionide is there. I'm going to add docs. I'm going to add samples. Yes. Started some documentation and added a web forms sample project to base off of. All right. And I'll push that up, and it's got some bunch of other stuff in there that we'll end up deleting and we'll work with. Yeah, I'm going to add that to git ignore. Very good point there. Because I don't want that hanging around. .ionide. It's funny is I didn't use ionide. It just kind of came along for the ride. There we go. Okay. I'm going to head over to Visual Studio. I thought I had this project open. Huh. And we will... Didn't add the git ignore to the commit. Yes, it did. I git commit am. So that appends with all of it. NetJam Jr. asks, is Blazor the web technology you'd most recommend a WPF developer to use? Actually, I'd recommend you to check out the Uno project from the folks. I forget what the name of the Uno company is, but they're working on this project that allows folks to use their XAML markup to build WebAssembly applications. TBD Gamer is here. Hello. So check out Uno. Right? It is, yeah, platform.uno. So there you go. You can use this technology to build with that same XAML markup and be able to deliver for WebAssembly. All right. Thank you, Space Shot, for posting the link. It does. It's getting a lot of momentum. Yep. A lot of folks actually from, a number of folks from Telerik have gone over there and are helping those folks build that platform. Really neat stuff. I believe it's 20 minutes for Papyrus. I believe that's my commitment. 20 minutes. Come on, Visual Studio. Thank you. Change fonts. I'm doing this for you, Svava. I need a hotkey for this so I can just jump right into Papyrus and get out of it as well. All right. All right. Papyrus, there you go. That's only slightly more difficult to read. Set a timer for 20 minutes to turn off Papyrus.
Okay, your timer is set for 20 minutes.
There we go. 20 minutes of Papyrus. It hurts, says TBD Gamer. All right, here we go. Let's do it, right? So this is default ASPX inside of a project that I put together called Before Web Forms, and it's right now it's just the output of a file new web forms project. I want to clean this out. I want to remove all the extra crap that's in here so that we can have pages for each of the controls so we can test and see what the rendering looks like and then bring that into our component. So I'm going to delete some of these things that we have in here that we don't need. I'm going to leave the Bootstrap theme stuff in there for now. The fonts as well, the scripts. Oh, we're going to need to do something with these scripts. All right, that's going to have to happen at some point. I'll leave the about. Do I want contact? You know what? No, let's get rid of about. Yep, goodbye. Let's get rid of contact. I'll leave default as a jump off page so I can jump off from there to somewhere else. And I think I'll leave the mobile rendering as well. But inside default, yes, we have the Jumbotron up at the top. Get rid of that. I don't want that anymore. Look at this. Rows for getting started. Ugh. And let's put an H2 here. No, H1. We'll call this Before Web Forms. Right? This is a project that contains individual pages for the Blazor Web Forms Components developers to use. That's better. To test the existing controls and see how they render and behave. To see how they behave. we will use this this project to determine how best to build our matching Blazor components. See, now that actually looks kind of nice in Visual Studio like that. That doesn't look right. That kind of looks epic. It looks like something James Cameron would write. This is a project that contains individual pages for the BlazorWebFormsComponents developers. It's like epic, awesome. Look at this. Thank you for the follow, Canner83. Appreciate you joining us. We are at 89.99 followers. Oh my gosh. Is this a yoga coding channel? The music, the font, feels like time for yoga. No, it's not. This is music to code by. This is music that's going to get us focused and working on the task at hand. Ash Caravan!
Ash Caravan just resubscribed for 4 months. So how much to make you type in wingdings?
There is no price for wingdings. It's too expensive to do wingdings. Thank you so much, Ash. I really appreciate that.
Boom goes the dynamite.
And we're going to make another donation to St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. I really appreciate this 4 months, Ash. It means a lot. Thank you. Thank you for tuning in. Challenge accepted. Uh-oh. So the Fritz Bits, you can't buy Fritz Bits. You can't. The only way you can get channel points, the Fritz Bits, is by participating, by being here. You folks really want me to make wingdings available. $500. Are you kidding? And you can't swap Fritz Bits. You really want me to do wingdings? Let me come back to that when this is up, and we'll figure out what we can do for wingdings. So let's make this a row here so we can put items going across. Div class equals, and let's make this medium. Let's put, when we look back at, let me go back to the top here. Thank you for the follow. There it is. Unfortunate 997. 9,000 followers. 9,000 followers. I'm pausing the timer. Hang on. Stop the press. Stop the press. Where is it? Timer. Pause. Timer. I want to pause you. Because Fava needs her additional 15 minutes. 9,000 hype. Are you kidding me? 9,000 followers here on channel. Are you kidding? Is this supposed to be exciting or fun? What the hell? Really? Really? Oh my goodness. Thank you so much, everybody. I appreciate everybody joining us. This is tremendous to get to 9,000. I'm trying to find a good
A nutless monkey could do your job.
That's a quote from Len Grossman, my producer. Oh, no, it's a lot more than that. Thank you so much, everybody. I'm gonna kind of, wow. Thank you so much. When we started this channel just over 2 years ago now, I thought I'd be lucky to get 1,000 followers, much less 9,000. Just holy crow. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in, for participating. This is phenomenal. Thank you very, very much, everybody. I think I have my audio set up to pipe through here from the PC. I should. Let me just test to make sure that it's coming through. I think it's here. I think it's coming through. Well, we'll find out here in just a second, because I want to make sure. Oh, I have it muted. Well, that explains it. Let me just test. Thank you for the follow. Jackman XP, thank you for the follow. Appreciate you joining me. That's because I'm awesome. Oh, thank you very much. That is very, very kind. I don't want to test the microphone. I want to test to make sure that I've got sound here coming through. Did that come through to the device over there? No, it didn't. Oh, wait a sec. Haha, I know what I'm doing wrong. Need to put it over to that. Now it's coming through. I think I need to push it all the way up. I think it's... Yeah. Okay, we've got this. All right. Yes, it's over 9,000. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to take a pause, and we're going to give away a Live Coders backpack. Here's what I want you to do. Exclamation point live. Drop that in the chat room. Let me know that you want a chance to win a Live Coders backpack. Right now, right here in chat, exclamation point. Why isn't it bringing these in? There we go. Now we're seeing them pop in there. Yeah, well, yes, everybody's welcome to enter. I'll ship this anywhere in the world. Exclamation point live. Make sure you see your name appear there. It should pick up. Love running this. This is the Lash tools, right? This will randomly give away a prize to somebody in chat. Exclamation point live. And we'll give that away. I see folks are out there tweeting. What's going on? D.D. Walsh with the tweet announcing the 9,000 followers. Thank you so much for the tweet, for the announcement there. This is really cool. Let's make sure we give away a Live Coders backpack to somebody in our stream. Wait a sec. Hang on. Stop. You can't say it's rigged already when I haven't even run the thing yet, Dee. Squirrel! Oh, I tell you. 32 folks in the raffle so far. Exclamation point live. Kevin's at the top of the list, so obviously he should win. No.
Put the candle back.
I'm not quite sure what that means, but it definitely means something.
Woo! What's that?
It's not rigged.
What's that?
I'm using this tool that randomly does all the things.
What's that?
No, really. And we'll give it away. We'll send it out to somebody when they win.
Now we know.
And knowing is half the battle.
And now you know. Your name goes up and the person 2 to 3 places above you wins, says TBD Gamer. No. We need an impartial judge to make sure it's not rigged. Uh-oh, Ferry. What command do we need? Rigged? We need a rigged command? No. No rigged command. No. And the Scott command didn't work. What? How did the Scott command not work? That should have totally worked. Right? That should have been a thing that popped up. I don't see it. Should have totally worked. Uppercase? Yeah, the uppercase, but still, exclamation point Scott should have done something. Yeah. Oh, you know what? The bot stopped. That's what happened. All right, and now... Yeah, right? The bot. It just stopped responding. See, there's the tacos.
Hey, listen.
There we go. All right, what do you say we do this? Last chance. I'm going to kick off the Jeopardy theme music.
Great Scott!
Say that.
Great Scott!
30 seconds left. Exclamation point live will get you in the box and put you in the raffle so that you could win a Live Coders backpack. We'll throw a couple buttons in there and maybe even some stickers. Thank you so much, everybody. I really appreciate the support. 9,000 followers is huge. And we're marching towards 10,000. 10,000, we're going to do a 12-hour stream. We think that's going to happen sometime in January or February. All right. All in, no more. Here we go. I'm pushing the button. Thank you, Hugo, for executing the Live Coders command. Let's do this. Let's give away. Oh yeah. Round and round it goes. We're going to give this away. Somebody's going to win a backpack here. Here we go. And the winner is All those names do want to win a backpack, absolutely. Rambling Geek! Rambling Geek! Congratulations. That's tremendous. I wasn't able to send out, I kind of drew a line and said I'm not going to send out backpacks to all the live coders unless they get out to TwitchCon. Rambling Geek wasn't able to make it. I can't think of somebody more appropriate to send the backpack to. Thank you so much. This is tremendous. It has won a, it's not there. What do you mean it's not there? Live Coder's backpack. Preview. It's not there. Why isn't it there? Has won a live code, and it's, that was the old one, the old tweet, has won a live coders backpack. Refresh. It's not loading up, and it's not back page, it's back pack. I don't know why it doesn't like that. Well, I guess we're not using the image. Thank you so much. And Rambling Geek, I think I have your mailing information. I'll reach out to you, and we'll get that sent out. Thank you so much, everybody, for participating. Always happy to give out, to do a raffle here. Karmic outcome, indeed. All right. It's in the badge at the bottom. I did not rig it, Dee Dee. There was no rigging here. Listen up, friends. That was fair and square. No rigging involved. We can rig other things, though. I'm not going to go crazy rigging things. I'm not going to try to rig things. We could rig things, but I'm not in the business of rigging things. And everybody gets a car, says Basic Wonder. No. No. Yeah, oh my gosh, Hugo. Let me highlight that. You're very welcome, my friend. Thank you so much. It has been an absolute pleasure to build the stream, to be able to support charities, to be able to do all the cool things that we've been able to build together, that we've been able to have fun and laugh about together. Thank you, Hugo, for being a longtime supporter. And I really appreciate everybody, all of our subscribers, all of our followers that are here in chat and participating. All right, let me get back into the project, and let me get back to Papyrus. All right, there's a significant number of controls, and I want to make sure I break these out appropriately. Data controls, validation controls. So I have 4 columns, basically. So let's make it 4 columns going across. Right, look at this, Papyrus. What are you doing to me here? I mean, seriously, right? So we'll put an H3 in here, and we'll make this first one the data controls, right? Ugh. And the data controls are all of these. Oh, wait do you see this? Watch this, watch this. What, I can't tell where it starts and stops. It's somewhere like there, right? Watch this. I'm gonna do I have Karnak running? I don't think I have Karnak running. Let me get Karnak running so you can see my keystrokes. Check this out. Same for Robert Tables. What did Robert Tables do? Yeah, his streamiversary is coming up in a few in a few weeks here. It'll be your 1-year streaming anniversary soon. Well, gosh, I'm so happy to be able to inspire other folks. So all I did, I'm holding down Alt and dragging so that I could type and do that, right? And I'm gonna try and do the same thing way out here, so I could do. Now, why didn't that work? That's weird. Thank you for the follow, Yunzera. Appreciate you joining us. This is weird. I should be able to just, whatever, right? Just want to copy these things over so that I list out, here's all the controls. So the next one is, the next one across, right? I'm gonna do something like that. So the next block of controls, ugh. It's so hard to use. Validation controls. This is why we like, right? Why? Why you do this, Svava? No, that should be, and I can't see the indent levels. Right? And I'll put the validation controls in here. That's these ones. And I'll do that same trick with the alt. So I can make these all in LI. And somewhere out here. See, it's like it. Can I start here and go like this? Nope. Can I do that? Oh, that worked. Good. Now, why didn't that one? Whatever. All right, so there's the validation controls. I also want to do. Right, I just want to have a jump off point here so I can see what these things look like. The next one was navigation and then login. Navigation. Something like that. I'm not going to finish copying these over. We can take care of that later. I want to actually do some coding here. I mean, G's, right? Login controls. It looks so epic with Papyrus. It does. Right? We'll finish copying those in. So, I feel like I should have a folder for each one of these controls. So let me add, to organize and be able to test and have some extra control, let's call this control samples. No. Samples. And let me add a folder, and I'll create it for ListView. And I'm just going to add a page, web form. Call it default. Really, chat room? Oh my goodness. Is it 1999 with that font? A little bit. Yeah, the code is really hard to read. Thank you, DJ Vortex. Yeah, Kronkriz. There was a redemption here to change the font and make it a little bit more difficult for us to work with. Let me see. Can I make that bolder? Right? Is there a way that I could make this? Yeah, I already have it set to bold. So let me pump up the font size at least. Maybe we can make it a little bit easier to read. How's that? I think that works a little bit better. I want this to appear inside of the layout. So I need to use this title. Let's call this the ListView homepage. Oh my gosh. I don't even care about code behind on this or the inherent. I have to put those on, don't I? Sure, I think that works. Should have waited and got him to do everything in Notepad. Lichen. That's available. That's going to be available soon. In about 8 minutes. All right. So this is inside of a master page, so we need to have content. And we have a content placeholder ID. Look at this. Look, I can hear Dee Dee laughing from there. From here. Right, with her donuts out in Bellevue. So, let's see. Let's say ListView control homepage, and Here is a simple list view bound to a collection of, what should we make as our sample object? What about Papyrus for a bit in Notepad? Stealthy, that's just wrong. No, we're not going to do that. No. Here's a simple list view bound to a collection of widgets. Widget objects. Widgets is fine. Right, let's wrap that in a, was it Alt-Shift-W? Nope. Alt-Shift-P? No. Is it Control-Shift-W? No. No. I forget the wrap command. There's a way to tell Visual Studio to automatically wrap that. Okay. So this should be using, there we go. So I need to have a collection of widgets to output, so I need a model for that. So I want a standard model for this. Let me add another folder. Models. And now it's Alt-Shift-C. There we go. Let's call this a widget. Right, and we want to have some pretty garden variety standard properties on this. So I'm going to use, I'll have an ID, I'll have a name, price, probably want to have a date time, and call this something like last update. Right, and we'll figure out more of these features later, but for an initial set of different data types that we want to format, we can get that working. Reminds me of when Stack Overflow made their website in 2000 style as a celebration of the web or something. Yeah. 5 minutes left. All right, here we go. Here we go. All right, so I now have a widget object, so I'm going to go back. Look at this, default. Get rid of that one. Okay. So we need a collection of those widgets that we're going to output. All right, so let's make a collection of widgets. So widgets equals, it's going to be a new widget array. Right, so that's a collection of widgets that we're going to connect our list view to so we can see what it looks like. I'm going to control dot here so I can get my using statements, because widget lives inside of a different namespace. Helps me organize where these things live. Just as annoying as all of the index CSHTML. What do you mean, Johan? What do you mean by that? Help me out. So I have a new widget. So ID equals 1. Name equals first widget, right? I don't care. This is just for demo data. Price equals $7.99, and the last update will be date time dot. I can't say yesterday. At hours 6, so it's 6 a.m. Yeah, I think that works. We should have multiple widgets here. So let's just create those. 2, not 2, 3. Third widget. Second widget. Make these prices something different. We're going to make this one a little bit more expensive. And we'll just increase the time so we have different. You know what? We should make this a PM. So let's make this 14 hours. All right. That works. In MVC sites, all the default views are called index.cshtml that are in a folder named to the controller name. Yes, the tabs bar only shows the file name. You're right. You're right. All right. So now I've got a collection of widgets that I can output. So let me put a sample list view here. Right, so this is how you create a list view. ID equals simple list view. Right. Run at is always server. I have a feeling I should create a run at attribute. More on that in a bit. Let's just start there. So we have a header template. Ooh, wait a sec. Well, there's the layout template. I thought there was a header template. There isn't. Let's do item template. Let's see what this looks like. We also have here the ability, because this does model binding, to say item type, right? And I'm gonna have this use, you make me sad. Oh, it doesn't even see it. Right, before web forms, models, widget. I should be able to use that now. Should be able to do that. Not track. Scroll that up so you can see it. Right, so if I do something like this, I also, isn't there like an auto something? No, that's on the grid view. Oh, the grid's gonna be a challenge to create here. So I should be able to say item dot, yeah, there we go. So let's put the ID, right? Item dot name. Oh, do you remember doing this, chat room? Price, but I'm gonna toString format it so that I force the dollar symbol on it, like that. Yeah. Item dot, what was the last one? Last update, and let's toString D, so we get it formatted for us here. Good. Trip, it's notifying me. All right, let's see what that looks like. I'm gonna set this as the startup project so we can see what this looks like. And we can take a look here. Format C, we don't all use dollar. All right. We're gonna need to do some fixes there. Yeah, toString C. All right, I'll do that. I will do that. Thank you, Blazor, Mr. Magoo. And oh my God. Okay. Change fonts. Back to Cascadia code. Oh wait, I don't have that installed here. Fine, I'll just go to console list. And back to 16 point font. Oh, that's so much better. Oh, my eyes. Thank you so much, Svava. I really appreciate you redeeming those bits there. I'm going to mark that as complete. We've completed your challenge of coding with Papyrus. Yes, Panda in the tub we can now see again. It's so good. We're back. I'm not gonna freak out. I am not myself asks, with Blazor running in the browser with WASM, would it use the browser's local to determine currency symbol? Don't know. That's a really good question. We'll have to figure that out. I'll Twitch that says, just got into the stream, really confused why the font was so terrible. Yes, we need to put something on the screen that shows when we're doing a font challenge like that. Johan has 20,000 bits waiting to redeem.
You have to ask me nicely.
Don't do that to me, Johan. Don't do that to me. Bad things happen. Bad things happen. I know some folks are saving up for me to do voiceovers. And we'll absolutely do that. Next project, penalty box countdown. That's not a bad idea. We can go Comic Sans. We can go back into Papyrus, Johan, if you'd like. We can also go to Notepad. Ooh. I won't be able to do Notepad for the web forms things, but as we're writing the Blazor code, we'll be able to do that. What was it in the error output there? that we need to address. Identifier expected, typer namespace definition. What did I? Well, that's not going to work. I did something wrong with the formatting of the header there, the header directive. Let me go back over here. I think I need my code behind. Yes. Right, so if I go back over to this, see, this is one of those things that just was infuriating about web forms, right? Before web forms dot, what was it? Control samples dot list view. Let's just leave it up there so we can see it. Control samples list view default. That should work for us here. Let's see if it compiles. There it goes. Build succeeded. If you don't code in Wingdings, you're not a real developer, says I'll Twitch that.
Houston, we have a problem.
I don't think anybody can code in Wingdings. Ugh. Ugh. Yeah, want a paradise, right? No Wingdings. Sit, walk, stand. No. No Wingdings. No. There will be no Wingdings. Oh my goodness. What have I done to myself? What have I done? All right, let's see if this runs and what we can get this to look like, and let's take a look at this. Challenge? No. No. It's more than a challenge. If we were to go to Wingdings, I would make it like a 5-minute visit. Space shot. These aren't the fonts you're looking for, Luke. Okay, maybe they are. Because it does not extend class system web UI page. What? What have I done? What have I done? System web UI page. Oh. Okay. This is fine. This is fine. This is fine. This is no worries. What about impact? Oh, Kevin. Oh, no. Really? Or stencil? Okay, stencil's not too bad, but...
Wait, let me explain something to you.
I actually need to be productive with this. Okay. I got nothing coming out. Oh, you know why? Oh, here's, right? Oh, you're gonna love this, right? So I've allocated the widgets. Right, I need to say, what was the name of my control? Simple list view, right? Simple list view dot data source. Oh yeah. Widgers. And right, this is the way we used to do these things. Data bind. Show me what that looks like. Oh yeah, yeah. Was that a clip of Robert Tables? No, that was from The Big Lebowski. Here we go. So the default appearance, look at this, right? That's how you can tell you're in web forms, when you got view state like that. Let's see what this looks like when it rendered. So we didn't get, so the list view by default doesn't give us layout. Right. Okay. So I need to go back over here. Right? And we need to provide a layout, right? Layout template. Oh yeah. Right? And this is where we could provide whatever it was that we wanted for this. And honestly, I forget how to use ListView, right? ASP.NET ListView control. And actually, I provided a link on that other page. Right, so, oh, look at this. layout template, and we had the item placeholder object. Yeah, look at that. Look at that. Remember this, chat room? Oh my goodness. Right, so we had a layout template, yep, and we had wherever we were going to replace it, we had an item placeholder. Ooh, that's going to be ugly. We can do this. We can do this. Okay. So let's, right, for my purposes, let's put a thing here, right? ID. What was the next one? Name, price, last update. So name, not TR. No. Put a TD here. Change you to TD. Right, TD. There we go. No, that should be TR. Price and last update, right? Format that thing, will you? Thank you. All right, so now I can go over here. I can do a T body, and now I can put right TR. Run at equals server ID equals item placeholder. Right, and I think we have to specify the placeholder, don't we? No. I think that does what we want it to do. I think. Let's find out. Can I just refresh? Will it just... It does, it just works. Woohoo! Byte me 7, because byte me's 0 through 6 were already taken. Byte me 7, well, it's the last byte, so it's not a complete byte. Thank you so much for joining us, and I appreciate the follow. T Mustaine, thank you for joining us. Appreciate you tuning in. The activity feed here on the Twitch dashboard froze. It doesn't update and show me anything here. Who remembers doing MVP in web forms just so you could get something under test? Yes. Model view presenter. Oh my gosh. Yes. You've always admired. Oh my gosh. Space shot. Let me put that comment up. Come on. You've admired my commitment to web forms when the new frameworks emerged. There are many web forms apps. Yes. I'm a big fan of this framework. There's a lot of things that folks can do with it and be very productive. And I think we're going to give folks that on-ramp to be able to do more with this. So now let me take a look at how this looks. So I get, for my list view, table T head, T body, and then there's my TRs, just the way I expected it. Fantastic. Good. Okay. That worked. Let's see what we can do to replicate that. Now let's go over to our control. Now that I have a base, I've got somewhere to start here. Now let's go over to Blazor and let's see what we can do so we can try and replicate this behavior. Then the first thing that I'm looking at that I'm going to struggle with is this name spacing, right? ASP colon. Right, if you're not familiar with how ASP.NET did this, they put namespaces in front of your controls so that you could bring in controls from other packages, from other places, and reuse them just by, right, because they came from different places, it would know where to get the content from, where to get the things from to put in here. So that's not too bad. I think we can, I'm not sure if we can emulate this, but at the very least, I want to be able to just use the ListView tag name to work with this. Before I go over to the Blazor component, I want to make sure that I have a link to go from my default page here to that ListView default. Thank you for the follow, Mantis159159. There's something there. I'm not sure what it is that you're trying to tell us, Mantis, but I appreciate you joining us. Thank you for the follow. Let me go to the list view here and let's put a link around this. Right? Because this one is now available. Spaces. Who likes spaces? Give me tabs. So I should be able to say, there we go. Right? I should be able to, I thought I could navigate right down to it. Can I? Is it gonna do it? Nope. Control samples. Nope, not gonna do it. List view. I don't have to put the default on it because it'll just go right there. So now my home page has a way for me to get to those, the one that I'm working on at least. So now let's go down. I'm gonna leave that markup. I thought I was leaving that markup out there. I guess I'm not. Actually, I'm more well, I've got to bridge this from this default layout to this. Now, I've already done a little bit of refactoring of the component itself. And what's interesting, check this out, chat room. This is something that that I ran into yesterday while giving a talk at a customer site. That you have a type parameter for the type of the objects that you're going to be generically outputting here in order to get that same item type behavior. If in order for me to use that, I need to put on my partial class this T item here so that it knows where to get it. Go away, Karnak, go away. Shoot. Go away for a second here. I'm trying to show something. ListView Razor, right? So you have this type parameter T item here, right? So you specify the generic type for your Blazor component. If you look at this, just opening it up, it says that's a ListView of type T item. It's a generic type. So when you build the partial class, you know you need to make this T item so that it matches up, and all of my parameters that'll be these code fragments that we have here for layout template and item template just work. Eternal DevCoder asks, let me put up this question here so I can handle that question. Do I prefer Visual Studio over Visual Studio Code? Because I'm working with web forms, the old ASP.NET technology, that isn't supported in Visual Studio Code, so I'm forced to use Visual Studio 2019 here. I don't have a choice when I'm working with that framework. However, when I am working with Blazor, when I am working with ASP.NET Core, I can use Visual Studio Code. I do prefer Visual Studio 2019 because there's a lot of refactorings and things in there, tools that make it very easy for me to work with my code and my project, testing and things that are performance and analyzing and Roslyn analyzer interactions that are really nice for me to use. I agree, Johan. I'll use Visual Studio Code side by side because I really like the Markdown editor in Visual Studio Code. And I've developed a taste actually for doing development on my Linux laptop. I installed Ubuntu on a laptop recently, and I really enjoy working there. So it's a little bit of both. I really enjoy both, but if you told me I had to choose one, I'm going to choose Visual Studio 2019 right now. So thank you for the question, Eternal DevCoder. I appreciate it. And if you have other questions out there in the chat room, drop me a line here, right there. And there's other moderators and folks that are folks there that are happy to help you out. We're always happy to take the discussion even further over to the Discord server as well. Hucking Fackers, good to see you again, is using VS Code for when you're working on JavaScript front-end frameworks and Visual Studio for those bulky, those meaty APIs. You're not wrong. You use a REST plugin for Visual Studio Code to test APIs with. That's really cool. That's really cool. All right, so we have this concept of a layout template, right, with that item placeholder and then our item templates. And we're kind of forced into the way that the list view is built right now to have, right, to do tables here and to force a class onto this. So this isn't too bad to start, right? And part of me wants to take that output that we got from the list view and kind of list that code that was rendered below this, so that developers that catch on, that work on this project after me, see the code here so they can work with it. Do you mind, chat room? I'm gonna just rerun the project and copy that rendered source code into the output here so that folks can see it side by side. I think it's that's something that'll help enable developers who aren't on Windows and using Visual Studio 2019 to be able to interact with it. So I'm just going to copy this, and is it going to escape it for me if I just do something like this? I don't think it's going to escape all those tags. Yeah. I'm going to need to replace all of these. Right? I wonder, isn't there paste as HTML? Can I do that? Right? That could be a thing, right? Edit. Isn't there a paste special? Paste as HTML. Right? Can I right click and do that? To paste as HTML? There's surround with. That's what I was looking for earlier. No. Maybe if I stop, it'll appear. Right? No. I want to paste. Right, there was a paste special that you were able to do. I don't see it. There is an extension to do this, I thought. Yes, yes, yes. No, I don't want the installer. I want the extensions. There's a paste as HTML. Visual Studio really needs the ability to right-click a project and run as admin. We actually think that's something that you shouldn't have to do. We want to make that trivial, easy for folks to do. Add support to copy the selected editor text to clipboard. I want to paste as HTML. Where copy text introduces new blank lines. I don't see it. Rats. Can it, more information. This means they're productivity power tools. I don't have the productivity power tools installed. And whatever. Let's do this. Let's see. I'm going to open Notepad. Paste special is there under Edit. Edit. No, paste special is not here. I'm in the old editor here. Paste as HTML. No. It's not there. Yeah. So I'm going to, inside of here, right, let's go all the way up to the top. And I'm going to replace this with the appropriate HTML entity. Oh, look at all that. And we'll do it again, and we'll replace the greater than with the HTML entity. Because for those of you that aren't web developers, you haven't seen this before, HTML uses these tags, right? The less thans and greater thans. What the? To indicate where things are formatted, right? That's how you get the format of things up here. So when you actually want to output less thans and greater thans and format our code, we need to format things on our own and escape them. So let me go down to the bottom here. I really want this formatted nicely so that it's all properly tabbed and all that stuff. This should be inserted. Yeah, there we go. All right, so let's run that one more time. Just realized you need an Atari hat. Yeah, well, check this out. Our friend InstaFluff told me, check this out, that says Atari in Japanese. I didn't know that. That's so cool. There we go. All right, so now I've got the output, but it's still not formatted properly. Right? That's kind of weird. You know? I would have thought that it... Right, do I need to put a BR at the end of each one of these lines? Ugh. Ugh. Old Salty Beard. Thank you so much for the sub. I appreciate you joining us. And using your Twitch Prime. Oh my gosh, thank you. We're going to make a donation to St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. You're going to get 17 emotes. Ads are going to get turned off here on the channel. And you get to throw emotes at my face. Plus, Twitch paid forward and gave 5 emotes to folks in chat. It's part of their Haha Holidays program they're running right now. If you subscribe, 5 other folks get emotes in chat. If you cheer more than, I think it's 300 bits, folks get emotes in chat. But most importantly, if you sub, if you cheer here on channel, we're going to make donations to St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. And if you subscribe like Old Salty Beard did with Twitch Prime, that's free. You already have Amazon Prime. You already paid for that, so you get free videos and cheap shipments, especially here during the holiday season. If you link your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account, now you get 1 free subscription to any channel here on the web. And if you use it here, you get all those benefits. Plus, I'll make a donation to a charitable cause. And this quarter, it's St. Jude. Thank you so much. There we go. Another fathead with a cheer. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. TBD Gamer with 500 bits. Oh my goodness. Come on. Come on, Scott. Thank you. You're slacking, Scott. Get with it here, all right? 10 other folks in chat got emotes, and we're going to donate to St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Thank you so much. Oh, you're registering a COM object. Oh my gosh, COM objects. Yeah, that was a thing we used to have to do here in coding with .NET and with VB6. Oh my gosh, VB6. Right, with Windows development, you have COM objects that you had to. They were reusable objects that you could use throughout the Windows operating system.
I am not myself just gifted 10 subs.
Oh my gosh, 10 gift subs. Thank you so much. I am not myself. I'm going to make a big donation to St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, and a bunch of folks just got subscriptions to the channel. Is that Wadzi, Chaotic Good Boy, Lycan, Nathan Pena, NetJam Jr., Little Big, Daily Disclosure, X Vilai, Count Oren, and Coop56. You just got subscriptions here on the channel. I'm going to make a donation to St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. You've got those 17 emotes. Thank you so much, everybody. It is raining subs. And how many people? A bunch of folks just got emotes. 10 other folks. No, 50 emotes just got shared out to chat. Thank you so much. That is awesome. Tremendous. I love seeing all the hype, all the positivity there. Thank you so much, everybody, for the subs, for the cheers, for the look at all those emotes, Santa emotes. Oh my goodness. Look at them all being shared. That is phenomenal. Oh my goodness. Let me finish formatting this code so it looks good, and we'll get back into writing some Blazor code here for this component. There we go. Do I need a BR at the end? I don't need a BR for the last one. All right. And now that should look a little bit better. Not great, but better. We should probably put some tabs or something in there. For right now, that's fine. It does that thing. It works. You know what, Karnak, you're a little bit in the way here. I'm going to move Karnak, if you don't mind, chat room. I'm going to move Karnak up here and make it... no, that's fine. Right, so it's up there above me, kind of out of the way of where we're working. Been a bit blast. Time to go home and get ready for your radio show stream. Take care, DJ Vortex. So good to see you here on stream. Yeah. Always great to see some of our longtime viewers hanging out with us. Because
people know me.
And they've been hanging out, tuning in for a long time. Oh my goodness. All right, cool. So that's what the format looks like. All right, let's... I feel like this is something I could have even formatted with some ASP.NET code. We'll figure that out later. I don't need to worry about that now. So our Blazor project has this layout, and it's already kind of forcing table formatting and things on you. And when Dan was building this, I remember he told me that the way that layout template worked, so that you could do this with this item placeholder object, there wasn't really a way to do that in Blazor. But I have an idea, chat room. I have an idea. Since item placeholder here, right, this attribute is kind of a trigger, right? It's kind of a thing that will activate, right, specifically that something is happening here. I think we can make a tag helper. And because we have the new component tag helper, we might be able to use this and somehow grab our items collection that's being passed in and hand it off to be presented inside of our list view. What do you think? Right? Because, right, so this item placeholder that you see right there, what this does is it effectively does a for each over where this thing is, and it applies this template. And there's even, we're going to get to this soon, there's even such a thing as the alternating item template. Look at that. Can I zoom in there? Can I zoom in? Alternating item template, right? That we're eventually going to have to handle so that it renders differently between them. So let's do this. Let's mark where we are right now. Let's get rid of that notepad that we were working in. I don't need this. No. I don't want to be working in Notepad anyway. No working in Notepad. I could work in Notepad. But let's see what we got here. Close that. I don't need this. Let me commit what we have. Right, git status. Yeah, I deleted all those other files. I think we're okay. So I'm going to add everything so that it also removes those other things. Finished a sample page for the list view in web forms. Okay. Let me push that out. Now, I want to work in, I want to work in feature branches here. So I have list view being worked on in a feature branch so that other folks can pick up and work in other controls in other branches. So I'm going to check out, and at some point here we're going to need to build a NuGet package, and we're going to need to build a couple other things to make this easier to test and verify that things are working. Let's see. Part of me wants to create, part of me wants to create the after Blazor project here. Let's do that. Let's create a server-side Blazor project. Yeah, let's do this. Server side Blazor. After Blazor server side. Yeah. So here's a way that you can do the same thing. So I'm going to create that, and I'll add a reference back to the project. This is going to work. This is totally going to work. And I also feel like that widget object that we had here, I should move into a .NET Standard project. I shouldn't have it here. Let me create that project and have this laid out in my master branch so other folks can pick up and run with it a little. Yes, I want .NET Standard, class library, there we go. And let's call this shared sample objects, right? So before, after, let me get, right, I'm gonna get rid of this class and let's create a folder here for models. Nope. I want to add a folder, models, because eventually we may have some more complex ones here. So we'll add a class. We'll call this widget. I think we need to make this just a little bit more complex, just to make this a little bit easier. So let me grab this, copy it in here, and I don't want to recreate that widgets, right? That widgets array in every page that I'm creating here, right? This thing. Let's get rid of this. Let's do this. Right, let's make this something that's available here. Public static, we'll make it a widget array, and we'll call this simple widget list. Right, there we go. We'll just do that. So now, oh, come on, Visual Studio. Really? You're not going to format that for me? No, not going to format it. You make me sad. You make me sad. There we go. So I have this collection now that's always going to be available to me. I can go back over here, and I'm going to add a reference, right? This is what you can do to kind of refactor your web forms projects. Right, I'm going to add a reference, there we go. Inside the project, I'm going to add a reference from web forms to this shared sample objects .NET Standard project. So I can say, let me get rid of the models project folder here. I don't need that anymore. I don't want to carry that around. I don't want any data access. I want my web forms project to be just presentation, right? So I'm going to control dot, yep. Why doesn't it see that? I thought that was a public static. Didn't I make that? Wait a sec. Did I put that public static in the other file? Did I put it in the wrong file? I may have put it in the wrong file. Oh my gosh. In which case, I can go out to GitHub and cheat and download it from there. Over here. Right? Oh no, I didn't commit the... So this is Octotree over here. It lets me browse GitHub a little bit easier. No, I don't want source. And I went down in here. This. That's what I want. I accidentally deleted it and wrote it in the wrong file. Simple widget list. Where'd that E come from? There we go. Still didn't format it. Alright, I'll tab. There we go. So now, simple widget list. So that knows how to do that. And I need to make sure that this item type, yes, is now shared sample objects. Sample objects. That should work. Should work. Having editor problems today a bit? No. Where's it seeing that? Yep. Don't need that anymore. That should build. Build succeeded. Good. All right. So I've just moved everything over here to that shared project so I can do in Blazor the same things that I was doing over in web forms. Make it as simple as possible. I'm going to delete this data folder. I don't need that. I'll leave the layout stuff there. And we're going to want a similar default page that has links out to the various components. I don't need the counter. I don't need fetch data. Right, and hello world. Let's put very similar markup as we have in the default here for this. And we'll call this after Blazor server side. Right? So we'll do something like this. This is a project that contains individual pages for the Blazor components for developers to use to test the new components they are building and see how they behave. We will use this project to determine how best to help verify that our Blazor components render appropriately. Now I feel like there's going to at some point need to be something like acceptance tests that are built that that will take the web forms project and that URL and the Blazor project and that URL and make sure the markup matches. Johan, I'm going to deny that response for the JFC. This being a family-friendly stream, I know that's kind of okay. We're not actually saying the Lord's name there, but I want to make sure that that doesn't offend folks. Similarly, other religious figures, I don't want folks to mention and use their names inappropriately here on stream. But that's gritty that you see there in that emote. That's the Philadelphia Flyers, my team, my NHL teams, my hockey team's mascot. That's his face. That is a very scary emote, yes. And we did that on purpose because we're intimidating. We're smiling and happy, and use that liberally everywhere here on Twitch. Let everybody know about the glory that is gritty. All right, so our default page over here, this was when we were doing Bootstrap Ancient Coder. I feel like this should be FlexGrid, right? CSS FlexGrid is the way we do these things over here now because we don't have Bootstrap inside of Blazor over here, right? Oh no, Bootstrap is there. I could use Bootstrap. Do I really want to use Bootstrap? You know what, just to get it running, I'm not opposed to it. We can make this into, what's it called later, you know? Oop. Oop. Right there, we gotta fix that one. Okay, so where'd it go? Here. Control samples ListView is the name of the project, the folder that we had that in. So let's, I'm going to add another folder here. Thank you for the follow, Poco Picos. Appreciate you joining us. Thank you for tuning in. So control samples, and I'll add one more folder here just to make this easier, so that it is structured the same. You know, I'm not going to add a Razor page. I'm going to add a. It'd be nice if Blazor component was there. And well, it is. Let's call this index, and we're going to have this. It really is. It'll be fine. Page, we're going to have this listen on there. Cool. And if we want this to look the same as the one that we had over here, right? Here's where I'm going to try and mimic, and I want to generate the exact same thing, right? So I'm actually going to copy this to start. Oh, why don't you like that? Must add a reference to assembly net standard version 2.0. Fine, do it. It's not going to do it for me. Let me add that reference. Right, net standard. There it is. And that should work. We were at 99% and now we're at 13.9. I know. It's amazing how quickly the sentiment shifts here, right? It's all the mentions of web forms dragging it down. No. And it won't take the 2.03. It's forcing me to take 2.0. Wow. I wasn't expecting that. Let me take a look down here. Yeah. It specifically wants 2.0. Okay, I added it, and right is that patch should have worked. So I don't need that layout anymore. It still doesn't like these. I wonder if we need that reference in. Well, okay. So it didn't change anything. If I right click and rebuild, I mean, it says that succeeded, right? Let's see what it looks like, see if that works. The red underline there kind of scares me, but let's see what happens. I'm feeling good about this. Okay, there's my list view. What? Oh, tartar sauce. That is inside of default. Refresh that. Now it goes to the right place. And it doesn't like that. Is this because, right, I'm thinking this is a thing in web config where it needs the assembly here. I'm willing to bet it needs that. You know? think I can do that. Yep. Or no, I should be able to do that. That's the fully qualified name. That should work. No, it's not because of the format of C. It's the reference to the net standard. Yeah, look at this. Required attribute tag prefix not found. Well, it's not a control. It's not a namespace. Right? And I'm not doing a binding redirect. How did we do this? How did we do this? Yes, I know. I did this in another project, and I have it sitting here on disk. It's in the not currency converter, eShop on Blazor. Here it is. Source, legacy web forms. And if I look at web config here, config sections, connection strings, app settings, system web compilation. There it is. Compilation. Here we go. Yep. And we need to add it. But it's 2.03 that I have. That should work. That should totally work. That should make it to a blog post so the world can Google the answer. I agree, Derek. I agree. Let's see. Click through the list view. There we go. Fantastic. All right. So that still works, and I can still build and see that. We definitely... Can somebody clip that? So if you need to get .NET Standard working in your project, your web forms project, you need to make sure you add a net standard assembly compilation here in web config. Yeah, if you don't set that, the app runs as 4.0. Well, I already had it set to target 4.8, but it didn't include net standard 2.03. So now that behaves properly. Okay. These should go away. Should go away. All right. Where was it? Here. Oh, rats. I want to do the exact same thing. Right? I want the exact same content here. But for Blazor. Like this. So let's call this ListView component homepage. Here's a simple list view bound to a collection of widgets. So I feel like we need to figure out how to do namespaces. Yes, you're right. A lot of folks don't know that that was a setting in Visual Studio, and they thought they could just get away with it. You can't just get away with it. Blazor and namespaces feels like a thing that needs to be figured out at some point. So I'm going to go back up here. This, I need to add a reference. Add reference. And I'm going to add a reference to BlazorWebFormsComponents. So now, this, it should, there we go. I want to put that BlazorWebFormsComponents list view, I want to put that into a import statement so that we've always got it available for us. So I'm going to add a new import, not existing item, add new item. So we have these imports statements. Where is it? I'm going to just copy and sheet here then. Fine. Oh no, Razor View imports. View imports. And it's called just imports here. So let's get rid of this. We put our using statements in here, right? There we go. BlazorWebFormsComponents. So now when I go back over here, it should know what this is. Or I could close and reopen it, and it should know what this is. Why don't you know what that is? It's inside the imports right there. Wait a sec. It's .cshtml. It needs to be .razor, right? That's, yeah. Let's change it. Now I go back over here. Now it knows what it is. All right. Got it. Nice hat, says O Delta. Thank you. Showing off my Atari here today. So some of these attributes we don't want to render. We don't need. We're not going to output anywhere. Let me put some carriage returns here and make this a little bit easier to see on the stream here. Yes, namespaces are just regular C#. So I should be able to get away with it. So my list view, the way that it's written right now, has a table header and a row template, the way that it's currently written. And if I were to write my code here to behave the same way that it is in web forms, right, I would say override on initialized. Why did you format like that? You make and I don't have a way to poke this and say, here's the data source. Do I? I have the items collection, which, does that match up over here? No, I did wrong. I did F11, I wanted F7. No! The collection is data source. So I feel like it's the same thing. If I want to make this match API-wise, I want to use data source there. So I'm going to create another parameter. Pizza with the resub.
Pizza just resubscribed for 6 months.
Thank you so much for the resub. We'll make a donation to St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital. Thank you very much. And you're going to get all the emotes. 5 other folks in chat got some of the haha holidays emotes, thanks to Twitch. OpDTK asks, what is this song? This is Music to Code by our friend Mr. Carl Franklin. And this song specifically is called Chartreuse. There's the music command, so you can see more about that. So data source, I'm going to return the items because I want these to be the same, right? Set, I'm going to say items equals value, so that these two are synonymous and I can pass the same value back and forth without doing anything. I'm also going to wire up so I can affect the same syntax here. I'm going to put together a method called dataBind that doesn't do anything, but is out there, right? Public void data bind, right? And I'm going to mark this as obsolete. This method doesn't do anything in Blazor, right? Just so it's there so that you can write the same code and it will continue to work, right? So if I've done this right, I can go back over here. On initialized, I can say, so I don't have right? How do I wire up? I don't have an ID for this object, do I? I'm blanking all of a sudden. I'm confusing myself, bouncing back and forth between Blazor and web forms. Let me go back here. eShop on Blazor, source, eShop on Blazor, and when we're actually using it, it was in pages, index. Thank you for the follow. Who's our new follower there? Brobotics, or is it B Robotics? Thank you so much for the follow. Appreciate you tuning in. So we did items, and we weren't loading it up per se. We created a pager there. Right, I don't have a way to reference this object, right, and set. I don't have an ID hooked up to it that I can use to be able to query it and interact with it in a code behind type of way. How do we do that in Blazor? Right? Blazor reference components by ID. There's got to be a way to do this. Right, so using those components, component type of, we're setting various properties on it so we can reference it. This could be tricky. This could be a little bit tricky. I feel like we're going to have to create a view model to make this work. Yeah, we're going to need to create a view model to make these components work, passing things back and forth. Oh boy. Yeah. It's not going to be perfect. But we're going to, yeah. We're going to need to somehow hook up an ID so we can reference that object and set it up. Okay. We can do this. What's chained bind? Oh, multiple levels of binding. Yes, yes, yes. Yeah, I think we're going to be kind of stuck here with this, and we're going to have to figure out. Right, we're not going to be able to reference this object. But we're going to have to create a view model that has whatever this object is so that we can wire things up to it. do that delegate. Delegate. No, we're going to delegate to the other object. Okay. So let's think this through. We're going to have some sort of... I mean, to be clear, I don't have to do item type here. I don't have to do these things. This doesn't know what these things are. Right? The collection is items, and we would say widget dot... we need the using statement. And we're going to put a using statement in here that looks like the shared sample objects models. Shared sample objects models. And I don't think we're referencing that project yet. So let's add that reference. So I hope what you're seeing here is we're slowly building up a reference project that uses uses the component so that we can see how it works before and after and be able to compare the two. So looking here, now I can say simple widget list, and I'll get that as my collection of items, and now this is happy, it knows what to do with it. Layout template isn't the control, it isn't, right, we don't have a label template parameter here, I don't think. No, we don't. We have table header, we have row template to kind of emulate it if it was a table. So let's create these render fragments. This is how you specify, this is a template. This is something that we're going to pass along and we're going to render in the output. So let's create another render fragment, right? And it was layout template. Let's make sure we spell it right. And this is a parameter because we're going to define it and pass in this object and eventually render it out here. So that should now go away. Right, it should know that this is a thing over here. Let's try building it and see what it does. How we doing there, chat room? Haven't heard from you in a few minutes. Am I off the deep end? Am I off my rocker? What do you think? So these two are the actual ListView control, right? This is the one we're emulating. So now, we need to figure out what to do with this. This thing isn't going to work, but item template is the way that this is referenced. So let me go back over here. Instead of this being called row template, let's call this item template so it matches. And back over here, I'll say item template. There we go. So it's passed in that object and it has that context and it can output and handle that appropriately. Still there, chat room? You've gone dark on me. I think we're there. I think our friends are still there. All right. So worst case scenario now, I'm just going to get a bunch of TRs. There we go. Thank you. Just came in. Lily Hazel is here.
Greetings, my excellent friend.
Good to see you, Lily. So I have my item template and it should output that. This will give me an obsolete so that it... these still need to be converted. I don't think there's going to be a way for us to convert this without... just because of the way that... just because of the way that Blazor works, I don't think we're going to be able to use those beasting tags and get away with it. you know. Item should totally work. Totally work. How did we do that before over here? Oh, we called it, we have a T item, and we have a context, and that's the name of the, okay. Right, so here, there's a, where'd it go? Yeah. So there's this thing called context, so you can specify what that, not that one, what the generic type is when you have a render fragment of type T. Right, so this tells you here's the name, the parameter name for that generic object. Right, so here, item template has it's generic, it's taking some object of some type, it doesn't know what it is. So that is what we're going to use to format. Bald Bearded Builder is here. Yeah, I see you pushed the name through. That's our friend Michael Jolly. He's going through a little brand exercise right now. So good to see you, my friend. So now, right, and I feel like if the context isn't there, it should default to that keyword item. Right, that's a thing that we need to add, and this is a thing. If those are the only things you need to do to make this work, I think we're in pretty good shape. Layout template isn't being output yet, and I think layout template, right, is what we're going to need to do up here. Empty data template. We haven't done anything with this one yet. Let's talk about that. If for some reason there aren't any values, well, you know what? That's not part of our sample. Don't need to worry about that yet. If there aren't any values, it'll output whatever we put inside that block. Yeah. Our friend Bald Bearded Builder, that is Michael Jolly. So we're good. Okay. So the layout and this tag helper to do the formatting. This is going to be interesting. Right, is there a way to do a tag helper and pass it a render fragment to tell it to do this for each across these? This is going to be interesting. Let's at least output the, let me commit what I've got right now because this builds, right? This builds, yes. So this is work in progress. Look at all that. Ugh. All right. Updating ListView component to mimic initial properties of the ListView control. Okay. I didn't want to put that into this branch. I didn't want to put that into this branch, but I did. Oh well. That's fine. I'm going to create a branch specific for this, and going forward, I'm going to continue working on the list view in this branch. That way we can merge and see updates going back and forth appropriately. Okay. I think I'm ready to break this now. Right? Let's do this. So my index razor, let's output the layout template. Let's save this just so it's here for us to reference, right? So @* and *@ allows you to comment things out in Razor so that it's the markup is commented and it doesn't actually execute anything. So I'm going to do the same thing here. If items equals null, or there aren't any items. Yeah. There we go. So I'm switching to C# to check that. Then we will output the empty data template. Otherwise, or do we have the empty data template inside the layout? I think it's inside the layout. So if I'm going to render the layout, right, so that's going to give me a fragment, but inside that fragment is, oh, here we go. So we need to parse the fragment so we can figure out where to inject our other things. Where the empty data template or the table header or the item templates, where those need to exist. Yes. Once this first one is designed and set up, the other ones should be easier. You're not wrong, Lycan. But there's all kinds of features in here that we're going to stumble onto, and it's going to be a hell of a good time to work through. The events models, paging. Oh yeah, there's some really interesting things that we're going to get into in here. Let's take a look at the render fragment object here. See what we can learn about this.
Rulahava just resubscribed for 2 months.
Thank you so much for that sub. 2 months with your Twitch Prime, I really appreciate it. We'll make a donation to St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. 5 folks in chat just got some of the haha holiday emotes. Congratulations to you. And thank you for the follow, Based Ninja 7. Appreciate you tuning in. Always great to have new followers, and I look forward to seeing you in the chat room. So we need to look at this, at the render fragment, so we can, right, intercept here. We're passing data into it. This is Blazor University. I don't want Blazor University. I want, right, generic typed component with render fragment. Let's see what we get here. Render fragment represents a chunk of Razor markup that can be rendered by the component. A render fragment of T is a chunk of Razor markup that takes a parameter that can be specified. So @child content is a fragment. Can capture their child content as a render fragment and render that content as part of the component rendering. Define a component parameter of type render fragment and name it child content. A parent component can then supply child content using Razor syntax. Child content component. Wait a second. Oh, yes. So that, okay. So, but how, right, if I want to make that not just a render fragment, if I want to make that an actual child component, right, that I want to pass things back and forth to, there's a little bit more to that, isn't there? Right, if I've got child content, components can set the content of another component. The assigning component provides the content between the tags that specify the receiving component. The child component has a child content property that represents a render fragment. Right, there it is. But I want that to be another component that we can interact with. So let's go off script. Capture references to components. Wait a second. Component references provide a way to reference the component in instance so that you can issue commands to that instance, such as show or reset. Add an @ref attribute to the child component. Define a field with the same type. This is what I was thinking of earlier. Hang on. Save that for right now. Back over here. Instead of trying to set up something weird, right? This is, let's call this, instead of ID, it becomes @ref, right? If I read that right. And I should be able to take this and have, can I do that? Right, does that work? Looks like it. Now why don't you like this? ListView is a namespace, but I've got to use the full right. BlazorWebFormsComponents ListView. BlazorWebFormsComponents. Do you like that? There we go. So now can I do simple ListView dot data? What can I do here? Yes. Right, I can do that. And why doesn't it like this? Requires one type argument. Widget. That worked. Okay. What doesn't this like? Cannot be private. Fine. Now why don't you like these? Should not be set outside of its component. So let's change this to on parameter set. Right? What the heck happened there? On parameters set. It shouldn't be set outside of it, but we're doing it anyway. No suitable method found to. I didn't spell it right. Fine. I didn't want it to be public anyway. You wound me. There we go. All right. And it doesn't like those, but that's okay. Child components are just components. They're not specially linked, but if the child has a parameter type, parent type, then it can be used as a child of that parent, and the parent must pass itself into the child. Then the child can call public methods on the parent, says Blazor Mr. Mago. Aha! Okay. So, right, if I want to make layout template, ListView layout template, its own thing, right? Well, hang on, before we go too much further, let me comment this, uncomment this one. Let's just see if it works, right? But if the child has a parameter of type parent type, then it can only be used as a child of that parent. Yes. Thank you for the follow, Rippin Haizung. Appreciate you joining us. So let's set this as the startup project now, the Blazor project. And this is a server side. I'm going to run it with IIS Express so that I can make changes. Look at that. Worked just fine. see if we can get that to work now. Nope. Now what? See, you build properly when I'm actually over here working. And
then?
It builds.
And then?
We navigate to it. Nope, it's going to the wrong location.
And then?
I'm going to go back and fix that link. That's what I'm going to do. Not that one. This one. Whatever. Right, so I fixed that, and this is going to try to reconnect.
And then?
We'll refresh. ASP.NET Core, that's right. Yep. But we're using Blazor here. I'm going to get rid of the things over here in the navigation. Uh-oh.
And then?
Unhandled exception. Well, we've already broken it. Object reference not set to an instance of an object. List view index on parameter set. Controls. So it's not there yet. The object isn't available for me. In here. Because they're recommending that you don't do what we just tried to do. Let's see if I can reload and see what that does now. Object reference not set to an instance. So simple data list, simple list view doesn't exist yet. So we need to find the right method to override where it might exist now. On after render? Are you kidding? Okay, hang on. This is what I want to do. On after render. And it. That's really annoying. Like, that's a massive tooling fail. You know? Override void on after render bool first render. Right, and at some point there's a base dot on after render first render. Right? That's totally a thing. And this is going to be upset because it is something that needs to be public. Okay, now this is upset because it should be protected. Alright. Blazor. Yeah, a little bit. Okay. So now if I paste in those changes, that looks like it worked. No, still doesn't like it. Let's see what happens when we actually run it over here. Yes! And it counts. Okay. So, we have a place that we can redirect and send that event. But I'm still thinking, I need to go back to what Blazor Mr. Magoo was saying about doing the child components. This feels right, and I cannot emphasize that enough. That is a really good point that you made there, Blazor Mr. Magoo. And I want to highlight it here on the video so folks can see this. Child components are just components. They're not specifically linked, but if the child has a parameter of the type of the parent component, then it can only be used as a child of that parent, and the parent must pass itself into the child. Then the child can call public methods on the parent. So, if I'm reading that right, and Mr. Magoo, I think we're on the same page here. If I create a ListView layout template component that has a parameter of type ListView, and make the layout template a property on, I think this will work. I hope you see where I'm going here. I think this will work. Let me commit that change that we just did. ListView, Blazor ListView, now populating using on after render event. Okay. Push this up. Set it up so it tracks it. So I can just say git push later and it will just push it out to git. Thank you for the follow, Kapura Paka. Thank you for joining us. But like anything in Blazor, there's many ways to do this. The parent can use a cascading value and the child a cascading parameter. Yes, I'm not sure I want to use cascading. Okay, so our items collection could be a cascading parameter that we could use. Okay. So if I look at this, so we have these parameters, right? And let me talk about what Mr. Magoo is pointing out there. We have items and data source. Items is kind of the more Blazor way to do this. If I turn this into a cascading parameter, even though we set the data source, it should be available to any child components that are hosted inside of this. The child can call a method on the parent, so the parent can store a reference to the child if you have an unknown number of children. Well, I'm going to make the child, the child is going to be a parameter. There's got to be something here about child components, right? Capture references, no. Okay. Right, so we have a component that contains components. We have a cascading parameter attribute. Cascading values are bound to cascading parameters by type. Okay. But I'm trying to do this generically, so this could be a little weird. To cascade multiple values of the same type within the same subtree, provide a unique name string to each cascading value component and its corresponding cascading parameter. Okay. I don't want to have to do that. I want that to be kind of forced. The cascaded parameters receive their values from the corresponding cascaded values in the ancestor component by name. Okay. So if this is cascading parameter, I can specify name equals, because I'm going to do this generically, items collection. Right? Thank you so much, Mr. Magoo. I appreciate you tuning in. Suggested reading or tutorials for getting started with C# with the intention. Base Ninja, you got to go to .net and check out the Learn tab there. There's a whole bunch of stuff there that'll get you started and pointed in the right direction with building these types of components and applications. So I have my items collection that I'm going to pass things into from my layout template. Which means my list view really has just an item template. And I'm going to be passing into that the various other templates that are going to be put onto that layout. And the actual formatting of this happens in the list view layout template. I'm going to leave this the way it is. Let's go down to the component. So ListView.Razor. So let's add, and I'm gonna purposely namespace these so that it kind of matches and looks properly here. So I'm gonna add a new item, and I'm gonna add a Razor component. ListView layout template. Right? So I also want to have to go with this then, right? This has a type parameter that comes with it because it's passing that along, right? ListView layout template. So now I'm going to add. I'm going to add a class. Ooh, look at that. Wait. It nested. No, it didn't nest it. Yeah, we're all right. We're all right. All right, so we're going to add ListView layout template dot partial dot razor dot cs. ListView layout template looks good. So make this a public partial class of type T item. And now that should, yep, that laid out properly. Could it be that I make a layout template component which inherits layout so then we override some? Janescu, yeah, I think there's going to be that type of abstraction of these objects so that we can get these layout things and concerns passed around appropriately for formatting. I think you're right. I don't want to go down the abstraction yet. I don't want to abstract too early. I want to just get it working. Let's do the minimum viable. Get it working. Make it clean, make it pretty, and then abstract and put those comment things in better places. I'm not quite sure what you're trying to do there, Boom Boom. What do you got? So then we're moving. I don't need this default CS. We've already re-implemented that. We know what that looks like. Don't need this anymore. We have that link working. Don't need my startup. Don't need my imports. Thank you for the follow. Is that Sinan Barut 26? Welcome. Thanks so much for tuning in. So we're building some components and templates here using Blazor, and we're pushing things around to try and make this very reusable for folks coming from web forms. So I feel like it's going to end up being something like this inside of this actual template here. Right? And I don't necessarily want to use a render fragment here. But I know Chris Sainty's done some work. But I'm going to have this render fragment, and I need to find the various components of it and iterate through them. Right? I feel like I've just kicked this down, this layout component, just kicked it down the curb a little bit so I could make it a right, this is a render fragment that has components, it has content inside of it. Seriously? This is a little bit tricky. They do have some limitations, you're right, Janesco. The built-in ones do. But we're trying to do a little bit more with this. I'm gonna have a fragment that comes in as part of this. But I need to do more with this. This is really, really interesting. Right? Because a render fragment is just HTML that we're just going to dump out. But we don't want to just dump out render fragments. Right? We want to do something to that render fragment. Templating components with render fragments. Let's see what Blazor University has. Maybe there's some things here. The render fragment class. Is right this. We're gonna output child content. Oh, has a property named child content, and it's the render fragment. Okay. Okay. How come the type parameter is an item, not a collection of items? Ooh, that's a good question. We might have to figure that out. Let me get back to you on that one. I don't know. So it would be just child. I don't want to just output child content. I want to like inspect it and manipulate it. Insert my templates appropriately over top of it. Because it's not just a render fragment. This is interesting. This is really, really interesting. Right? Right, the way you would do this is you would have a parameter, public render fragment, child content, like this. Right, and we put on the using statement there. So now child content is a thing, and it's gonna just dump that content there. But I don't know how to inspect it, right? Because I'm gonna get that layout that says table, and here's where to put a thing inside of it. And or here's where to put, I don't know how to do the empty item template yet. I don't know what that looks like, but I know how to do just the item templates. So how do I do the item templates? Right, because I'm eventually going to pass them in here to do that for each inside of whatever the table layout is that we've built, right? We want to output all of this content except for, right, we effectively want to have it find a tag that has an ID of item placeholder. And that's where we want to replace. The Blazor Workshop had some templates, says Janesco. Does it? What? Where to go? Blazor Dash Workshop. All right. Source. Components library. No. Components? Templated dialog, templated list. Render fragments. Yeah, it's not necessarily going through it, but we need to tell it where and how to do this. It's like we need an extension on a render fragment so we can inspect it. What can we do with the render fragment? Right? I mean, this is not a bad template, right? Templated dialogue, right? Child content, it would just dump it in there, right? And we had ways to trigger methods to go back. Right? If I go over here in pages, specifies the order, map item, yeah. Let's take a look at render fragment, see what we can do with that thing. I'm just going to create just a method here so we can inspect what that thing is and what we can do with it. Child content dot. Oh, so it's a task. Get object data. I thought there was a way to get the content. Render tree builder. Ooh. Okay. So we could get, right, we could invoke, pass in the render tree builder, intercept it, inspect, and work from there. Let's see if anybody has something about render tree builder out here. Dynamic content. API review for render tree builder. Build components manually. Chris was working on this in April. What's the magazine have? From Peter Vogel in July. Render tree builder. Here we go. To add an element to the render tree builder, you call its open element method passing in 2 parameters. Okay. So we're adding attributes, but can we... Can we intercept? Can we inspect the render tree builder? And interact with it? Is a render to the lambda expression. So if they want to build this by hand, he's implementing component base and calling build render tree. Open element, add attribute. Right, and building this by hand, but can we tell it, run through and build this and listen for something? Sequence number. This is an advanced use of Blazor, most of the time it's not necessary. No, we need to hear. Dealing with the sequence numbers alone is a maintenance nightmare. I've used this technique when building a Blazor menu library. So what's this do? What's this do? Allows you to be built markup dynamically. Yeah. He's creating templates and passing things into the templates. And he's building things. Yeah, look at that. Look at that. Why is chat sentiment so low? I don't see negative comments. It's interpreting some of those things as negative. Like, I was making a bad joke, He's probably seeing that as negative. So let me see, what time is it? We've been going here for a while. Let me wrap up here. We've been going a little bit long, but I think this is going to be the way to go. Thank you for the follow, Ozan Gulal. I appreciate that. Yeah, we hit 3 hours. So I feel like this is going to be the direction we need to go so that our layout template can reach into the parent. Right, let's go after what Blazor Mr. Magoo was saying here. If we have a parameter that is of type ListView, how did he explain that? Let me make sure I'm referencing this properly, what he says. Here we go. Parameter of parent type that can only be used of that parent. The child can then call public methods on its parent. Okay, so let's call this. Let's just call this ListView. Right, and can I make this protected? Internal. Right? Should be public. Let's see how Chris does this inside his source. Right, Blazor menu item. Blazor menu item base. Look at that. He's already abstracted this a little bit. Render fragment child content. Public menu item, menu item. Blazor menu has child content. Blazor submenu, look at that. So Blazor submenu. Yeah, look at that header template. And has an IEnumerable of menu item called menu items. But I don't see the parent object here. Interesting, Chris. Interesting. Train NN to create chat messages that raise sentiment. Oh, that could be a thing. If I make this public, I don't want it to be something that everybody uses to pass in that. So I've got a couple questions here that I need to figure out how to do. How do I... Right? And the render tree builder. We're passing in the render tree builder. I can't override invoke. Okay. So we're getting into someplace interesting here. We're getting into someplace very interesting, and I'm going to need to do some reading to learn up on this. So it feels like that render tree builder So there's build render tree that happens. I can't override that. Right? There's things here that I can't do. Yeah, look, it's there. I can't override it. That's a thing. Okay. Yeah. That's right, Cuff-Amelia. Getting stuff done. But, right, we're learning how to build this hierarchy so that we can dynamically specify the layout and have it render and pull back the various types of the various templates that we want to use to format. We're going to need to do some work here. This is not trivial. I'm not going to add those components yet. I'm not going to commit them to source control and push them up. Let's do it anyway. Add everything here. Let's get things cleaned up. And get ready to move on a little bit. Set up and raid our next friend out here. I'm going to do some research on this render tree builder. See what I can do to get it to do a little bit more of the behavior that we want. You're not going to let me turn that down, are you? Thanks. So I will commit these. Investigating using render tree builder to inspect and handle templates of the list view. And once we figure this out, this is a technique that we're going to end up using a lot of different places in these components. And I'll push that up. And we now have that available. It's out there. It's on the source control repository. So if you want to take a look at it, you can jump in and see what's going on with this project and hopefully follow along if we're doing something out here that interests you. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. I really appreciate this. While I'm on the road here and working, helping out some folks, and we're going to be in Phoenix at the user group meeting tonight. We'll be streaming that from here. We're going to be talking about ASP.NET Core 3.1. We'll talk about Blazor. We're going to talk about gRPC. We're going to talk about worker services. It's going to be a fantastic meeting tonight. Check it out tonight, 6 p.m. Mountain Time. So I'll update the schedule down below, but keep your ears open. Listen for the announcement when I go live, and you'll be able to find us right here on Twitch. You know who just went live? The Xamarin.NET Community Meetup. I don't get a chance to raid the Visual Studio channel enough. Let's raid Visual Studio. I'll put the raid command out there. If you're a subscriber, that's fantastic. Copy the first line of text right here. Copy that onto your clipboard. Get ready. We're going to go raid Visual Studio. If you're not a subscriber, that's okay. Grab the second line of text. Copy it onto the clipboard. We're going to say hello to our friends on the Visual Studio Xamarin team. They don't know we're coming. We're going to invade. We're going to say hello. And we're going to have a great time. Where's my intro music? There it is. And encourage them to have a good time here on Twitch. Yep, the stand-up. Absolutely. They're doing their stand-up over there. So let's say hello to Visual Studio. There we go. This video, like all my other videos, will be archived. It'll be available over on the YouTube channel in a week or two. But it's available here on the videos link just above me. Thanks so much, everybody, for tuning in. Get ready to say hello to all of our friends on the Xamarin team over there on the Visual Studio channel. It's been a great pleasure talking with you. I'll see you later tonight from the Phoenix User Group meeting. Tomorrow I'm off, but I will see you then Sunday. All right? Take care, everybody. See you tonight.